guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new, please do consider subscribing if you find today's information useful. Like I haven't been consistently posting, I do apologize for that, but I'll try to do better next time. But today I come with a very important update regarding my experience having MRI done in Korea, which I mean sometimes we need to check ourselves and maybe follow up with some of our health issues and stuff like that. So I am going to share specifically for the hospital that I went to, but I do believe that the cost implications are similar within Korea, especially if you're not in Seoul. So this hospital is called Konyan Hospital or National or University Hospital. It's located in Daejeon. So this is where I went to see the neurologist. So with me, I basically had to do a follow-up after 12 months. I had a neurologist or MRI done in South Africa before I came here. So I was doing some sort of a follow-up. So this is usually a referral or second hospital. So you cannot come here without a letter. So this means that either you need a letter from a doctor within Korea, or let's say you are a foreigner, because even if when you are not staying in Korea, you can do like medical treatment here. So you'll come with your letter from a country, let's say you're from the United States or you're from Canada or South Africa, something like that. So with my case, because I knew a doctor that works there, they told me that they can help me to get a referral directly to the hospital. So what I needed to do was firstly to see a general doctor. Obviously, it will cost you more when you get a referral directly from the hospital as opposed to going to a local doctor. So I got a letter there which costed about maybe $19, which is 20,000 Korean won, and in South African rand it's around 250. So I got a letter first, and then I had to book an appointment to see the neurologist. So I have some documents here. So the first thing that I had to do after seeing the general doctor at the hospital is to book an appointment with the neurologist. So my appointment with the neurologist costed 28,000 Korean won. I think this was before the insurance. So the insurance paid about 3,000 Korean won, and then I had to pay most of it, which was 25,200 Korean won. So this amount, I think I did write somewhere here. Yeah, this amount is, where's the document? I think, yeah, that's the one that is around $19, and which is about 350, yeah, 350 South African rands. I have all sorts of documents here, but I cannot see where I wrote it. Yeah, so it's around that amount. But yeah, if I'm wrong, you can. I mean, we know that currency always fluctuates. So it was 25,200 to see the neurologist, and then they took some bloods and scheduled me to take some bloods and the brain MRI. Yes. Oh, yeah, I got it. The 25,200, it's about $17, and which is 317 South African rands. So since I'm South African and I know I have lots of American friends, I thought maybe let me just check the currency conversion for the two currencies. And then, yeah, and then I was scheduled for the bloods. The bloods were all sorts of bloods. I cannot remember how many of them that they did. The bloods were with yeah, that's the amount. Okay, the bloods, I think it was around 90, let's say 100,000 Korean won. Yeah, 100,000 Korean won that I paid, and the health insurance paid about 65,000 for all the bloods that they had to do, more like hormone bloods test. And then the MRI was 256 Korean won that I took, that I paid, not that I took, that I paid, which is 3,200 South African rands, and that is 177 USD. So the total amount that I basically paid for both MRI and the bloods out of my pocket was 365,000 Korean won. and the health insurance paid 233,640 Korean won, which basically means that if you don't have any medical insurance, or let's say you are a foreigner, or let's say your mom visited you and you want your mom to come here to get like an MRI done and some bloods, they'll be looking to pay around 600 Korean one. Uh, so yeah, and just to be specific, I know types of MRIs are different. This particular one was the brain MRI that I had to do. So, but I know MRIs, they cost around the same amount. But usually the brain MRI, it's usually expensive as compared to some MRI. I know back in South Africa, I had to do I don't know if it was spinal cord or limb or something like that. It was cheap as compared to the brain MRI. So I thought, I think it's not a bad amount. Yeah, because literally, meaning the bloods and the MRI, if I didn't have medical aid, it means I would have paid something around 7,000 rands, which is really cheap because my MRI back in South Africa for the brain alone costed about 9,000 rands. So that's literally a big jump. Honestly, it's really a big jump. Obviously, also in South Africa, I didn't pay it out of my pocket because I had a medical aid and I also had gap cover. So my medical aid paid 7,000 and then the balance the gap cover paid. But still, let's say you had to pay this by cash. Korea remains very cheap. And again, in terms of the comparison, seeing the neurologist, like I said, it was about 300 rands. In South Africa, I remember every time I had to see my neurologist, it was 1.3. And I switched from my previous neurologist who was costing me, or who was charging me 2,000 rands every time I saw. But again, I guess it's per location because this first neurologist, I was seeing her at Santon Mediclinic, and then I changed to Netcare Sunning Hill. That is still part of Sentin, but within the Sunning Hill side. So I think, I believe that regardless of where you are in South Africa, the neurologist might be charging around the same price. I cannot talk more about the US, obviously, because I'm not from the United States. But I know that some of my friends, they told me that, yeah, uh, medicine or seeing specialists in the United States, it's also quite expensive. So I think, yeah, if you have your mom or your brother that needs to get their medicals checked, I think Korea is the place to do it because I think it's really affordable. So I think, yeah, and then I just want to share my experience in terms of going to the hospital itself because remember, it's not an English speaking country. So a friend gave me a number of a guy who basically assists foreigners at the hospital. So obviously I kind of like, oh, you know what, a friend of mine gave me your contacts, but I don't think he was nice to me because a friend of mine gave me. But if you might need my help, maybe I might also help you if you are within the region. So because yeah, I mean, if you are in Seoul, it's far, you can might as well do it there, or if you are in Daegu. But let's say you are in Daejeon, maybe you can comment on the video below. I can hook you up. Sure, it's VIP treatment. I tell you, I arrived there. Obviously, I was there on time. Made sure first appointment I was there on time. Second appointment there. Actually, I had three appointments. Because first one was to see the general doctor, get a referral, book, and then book an appointment. Second one to see the neurologist, and then he sent me on the yeah, he sent me. Actually, did I go there 4 times? Oh, or maybe the day that yeah, no, the day that I saw the general doctor, I also saw the neurologist, and then second time was to take the bloods and then the MRI. Oh, I forgot to mention something. The MRI was with contrast, okay, meaning that it's more expensive than the normal one. So it's more expensive than the normal one I did in South Africa. The South African one was without contrast, the 9,000. So this was MRI with contrast because obviously they like inject chemicals in your bloodstream and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, ooh, my heart was racing few seconds after applying or being injected with the contrast. So yo, I'm so nervous with contrast. I think maybe I'm a little bit allergic, but I was able to breathe in and out to kind of like control my heart rate, because I was kind of like having heart palpitations. Luckily, the neurologist had explained that there are chances that well, some people do react or go into shock. So I think I might have been going to shock as well, because my heart was literally racing and I felt like I wanted to pass out. But I started praying and trying to calm myself down and breathe in and out. But yeah, for a few days, I didn't feel well. Actually, maybe more than a week. I felt like I'm not feeling well. So yeah, obviously, if you are taking an MRI with contrast, if you feel like you cannot carry on, you feel like your heart is beating too much, I think it's best that you inform them, because you might be going into shock. Okay, and yeah, and then obviously after the results and the MRI and the bloods were ready, I had to see the neurologist again. So I paid similar amount again for consultation, which was 25,000 Korean won. Like I explained, it's about 317 rands. Oh my gosh, I just cannot believe it. I cannot believe how expensive this is in South Africa. Like I said, it shows 28,200 before medical aid, and medical aid only pays 3,000 Korean won, because it's not like I'm sick, just follow up. It's outpatient treatment. So probably if you are within the hospital, you will pay way less. I guess maybe when the doctor comes see you, you'll be hospitalized, so maybe it will be part of your hospital stay. But this is so cheap, man. It's so cheap. Yeah, so just want to see again. Yeah, like I said, the total before health insurance was going to be 591. Let's say 600 Korean won. That's really affordable. That's around 6,000 rand. Getting the MRI with contrast and the bloods, that is really, really affordable. And then obviously, with my case, well, I'm not ready to share what's happening with me now. Maybe I might share some other time in future or next year. But with this one, I had to be referred to a bigger hospital, because the doctor had suggested that I need further treatment. So I had to go to a different hospital. Oh, I didn't finish explaining about my VIP treatment. Yes. Oh, guys. Okay, let me explain about my VIP treatment. I thought this was not gonna be long, but please bear with me. So yeah, like I said, the guy is Korean. He speaks English, so he does everything for you as a foreigner. I think it's part of his portfolio, or his job description. Because when you walk, I think I took some videos. Maybe I will kind of like put the video somewhere. When you walk towards them, there's English, there's Chinese and other things. And then he literally took me everywhere. He took me to the general doctor, he took me to the neurologist. Luckily the neurologist spoke English, so no translation was needed. But for the general doctor, he explained everything. He took me everywhere. Mind you, this wasn't my first experience at that hospital. The first experience was a few months ago when I had some sort of a tooth issue, but they found out it was my jaw. It was also VIP treatment. Um, and he takes you everywhere, he shows you everything. But for the MRI, since it was earlier, because he starts at 9, I went there past 8 or quarter past 8. He wasn't there, but still, I think the hospital staff, they are kind, and if you know Korean, you will even if cruise through. So on the day of the blood test, obviously there was no translator or anything. The radiologist, they kind of like understood basic English, which was fine. Okay, so that's case closed for Konyan uh, University Hospital. Yes, National Hospital. It's the best experience. That yeah, best experience, because then I went there 3 times. And then, like I said, they transferred me to Chungnam National University Hospital, which is, I believe, is the biggest hospital in Daejeon. For my case, so I had to see a neurosurgeon there. And these are the costs for seeing the neurosurgeon. And you won't believe, I thought it was going to cost more because it's the biggest hospital in the region, or according to what I've been told, but the cost is the same. Okay, before health insurance is 28,290. Health insurance paid 3,090 Korean won, which is the same amount as what I paid in Konyan University National Hospital. So I pay the same amount, 317 rands, to see a neurosurgeon, neurologist, neurosurgeon, same consultation amount. I'm blown away, guys. I don't know, maybe some of you might have never been sick. You don't know how expensive it is to see doctors. Well, obviously, maybe in South Africa I had a medical aid, but still, with specialists in South Africa, or more especially in Sentin, where I stayed almost 3 years, you always had to pay upfront and claim through your insurance. So it's still so painful for every time that when you consult, you have to pay 2,000 rands and claim through your medical aid. Luckily, mine always paid 3 days later. But it's way cheaper. This amount is literally way cheaper. So yeah, I thought, yeah, South Korea is doing something right. It's literally doing something right. I'm like, oh my gosh, whenever if my mom is gonna visit us, if she has any health issues, she just have to get everything done here, because it's really affordable. Let me know what you think regarding this video. If you have any specific questions, if you have any burning questions, let's say you need to do like some sort of an MRI or brain MRI. And another thing, what I like about the hospital, they're so trustworthy. So this is my document for the follow-up for next year for some blood tests that I need to do. After consultation, I just thought that this is kind of like cool, that like there's that trust within people as compared to South Africa, where you have to pay before you leave. Like I had to obviously pay with the barcode, yeah, at the uh, uh, paying machines or pay station. I don't know what you want to call it, but I just literally went to scan the barcode and pay by myself. Yeah, so and obviously after you have paid, this is the one from Chungnam National Hospital, and this one's from Koya. So you can also say you want one receipt or you want two. Let's say it was something, let's say you got injured from work. I know my workplace provides where injured in duty kind of injured in duty, some sort of insurance. So if my workplace was paying, I would request for two receipts, one to keep and one for the workplace. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. And since my case that my case needed to be referred to a different hospital, or let's say you got your test done and you are going to move to a new city or hospital, and you know you need follow-up, my advice would be to get your blood test or MRIs, whatever MRI it could have been. You have to go to the hospital and get it on a CD. That's what I was told, that in Korea you have to get it in a CD, because if it's not on a CD, you have to redo the test. I remember also someone from our church said that since she didn't have the CD, they had to retake everything, meaning that we'll end up having to pay, and poor health insurance has to pay again. So with me, they had done the CD for me and the other tests that I did, because yeah, but I think everything might have been also included here. But I had a hard copy test result and a CD, and this costed me 15,000 Korean won to get everything, the documents that I needed to transfer to a different hospital. So I thought I must also add that this is really important. So obviously you might not see, but there's the date when the CD was done, and then the other hospital when the day that they've copied this to their system. So basically now my records about this blood test and the MRI, they are accessible at that previous hospital, Konyang and the Chunam, because then they made a CD. So without this, then it becomes difficult. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Let me know if you have any questions. And yeah, please do consider to subscribe and share this video to someone who might find it helpful. Bye bye.